Good afternoon. My name is Clinton Dishman, and I am continuing my vlog on OCD. Today's topic's going to kind of be different in the aspect that I'm not touching so much on OCD and the symptoms and all those kinds of things. I've been following this gentleman on YouTube. His name is Ken, and it's called Free Hugs. And the gentleman is promoting peace between a lot of the political parties and these protests and things that have been going on, and his approach really astounds me. I base a lot of things off of logic and rationale just due to my OCD. This gentleman here is putting himself in between hostile environments or hostile groups and promoting peace and hugs, and it's quite amazing to me. And it's something that made me think about people with mental disorders and the struggles that we face with being ostracized and judged and ridiculed for our inabilities per se, or the struggles that we face with our mental disorders. And it got me thinking, the more people that are able to stand out and work to educate people on what's going on. You may not always agree or even understand, but if you keep an open mind and an open heart and you really look at everyone, regardless. I mean, it could be the LGBT community, it could be liberal movements, the conservative movements, mental disorders. I mean, all of these, in every single one of these situations, the thing that is shared is that there's a lack of understanding, and when people don't understand something, they try to push it away and they try to fight it, or they discriminate against it. And it's sad to see that. And that's one thing about when you have a mental disorder, people do feel ostracized. People do feel that they are discriminated against because of their whatever that disability causes in them mentally. It separates them from the normal, I guess you say, the normal people day to day. And I truly believe that the more that anybody in any circumstance works to promote a level of understanding and a level of explanation for what they believe in, or what's going on with them, or anything else like that, the better response that people are going to get. Now, it doesn't always happen that way. I've referenced the workplace a lot in respect to my OCD, and not the discrimination, but the lack of understanding that has occurred and led to some of my unfortunate situations in the workplace. But and also it's an aspect of dealing with people. You may operate and act in a different manner, and then people automatically assume that there's maybe an ulterior motive. Maybe there's this person acts different, he's a threat, he's a danger, or they're a threat, they're a danger, and that's not the case. I think that a lot of people that struggle with mental disorders, there are some very severe ones that unfortunately kind of put a taboo, right, per se, on everyone that has a mental disorder. But it's kind of an ignorant assumption. There are a lot of people who suffer from everything from bipolar, borderline schizophrenia, OCD, depression, a lot of these things, and all they really crave is to have somewhat of a normal life and to be an asset in society and be productive and be just another individual that goes out and works or interacts. Not always easy, but guarantee you that, if people were to really start asking, you come across somebody who, acknowledges that they struggle with a mental disability, and you're to ask them, hey, what is it that you want? They probably tell you flat out that they just want to be accepted, and they wish that this wasn't what they had, but it is, and them, myself, anybody, just trying to find a way to coexist and live at least as much of a normal life as possible. And what's going to make that easier for everybody is this approach of peace, an open mind, and to just really hone in on, putting yourself in that person's shoes, and that's not easy to do. But the more you try, the more you work to educate people, I think the easier it gets to some degree. Like I said, this was really what inspired me for this one, was just watching this gentleman, and you see that his intentions are pure, that what he wants to do is just have everyone be able to speak their mind and their opinion, but do so in a peaceful manner where nobody gets hurt, nobody gets arrested, nobody gets killed or anything of that standpoint. And I kind of feel that maybe in the same sense that's what I would like for these videos or vlogs to be for people with mental disabilities. Now, granted, I'm only really touching on OCD because not unfortunately, but that's what I suffer from and I know more about. But that's the same kind of approach that I want to get across to people is, hey, rather than looking at people that suffer from mental disabilities as, someone with like a disease and cooties and stay away from that individual, they're not normal. Try to understand them, especially if those people are the kind of people that are willing to discuss what they suffer with. I keep asking people to send me questions so that way I can answer them, to the best of my ability. And the purpose behind that is because I want people to be able to step out of their comfort zone and ask. Be like, hey, I suffer from this, or is this normal, or whatever. And I also want people who don't suffer to ask questions, so maybe I can offer that insight. And it's all based on just offering a level of understanding so people don't discriminate against, people with mental disabilities. Because they're becoming more prominent in today's society. Some of it, could be, of course you always got to be careful. Some of it can be scams, or some of it can be just attention getters. But I truly think that the people that are open and honest about what they suffer with, they really are wanting, by even just opening up about it, they're doing so in a way to offer a level of understanding for those who don't suffer, and to kind of bring to light the struggles that we go through. You look at identity issues and all these other kind of things, and how people are speaking out against it and trying to bring it to light. Well, it's the same with a mental disorder. Didn't choose to have this issue, but just because somebody has it doesn't make them a bad person or a dangerous individual or anything else like that. A lot of people, like, for example, a lot of people talk about, like these people who go on these massive shootings and things like that, and they go, they suffer from mental disorder. It may be true, but not all of us out there with a mental disorder would ever even think about doing things of that nature. We're not everybody's violent, yes, people are like, bipolars, they're up and down. I have friends that are bipolar, and yeah, their moods fluctuate, but and they can't necessarily control them, and they're sometimes sporadic and chaotic, but they can't control that. And if they seek the proper help and get on the proper medication, or proper counseling, or whatever the case may be, they are still just another human being trying to live their life and do the right thing. It's hard when people, I hear it a lot on the news, that like these people that show these other people are like, oh, they're mental disability, and all of a sudden everybody with a mental disability is lumped into this category. That's not right. I wouldn't hurt a fly, to be honest with you. I'd much rather sit here and try to talk and explain to everyone in a rational manner that, hey, this is what happens, this is what occurs, and here are some of the symptoms and signs, and how some ways I've found to deal with them. But I would never go out to hurt somebody. And the first thing that you hear in some of these broadcasts is that, this person had a mental disability, and that's why it was PTSD, or it was anxiety, or schizophrenia, or something like that. And then all of a sudden everybody who suffered from that, they're like, okay, I can't say anything, because they're afraid to be lumped into those categories. There's extreme categories in every situation, but that sums up maybe 5% of the people that suffer from it. We really need, just as human beings, to open up our minds and open up our thoughts and really dig down to try to understand. And if you do know someone with a mental disability that may have those particular qualities, that could lead to violence and things of that nature, reach out to them, talk to them. A lot of people that respond in violence and in a negative manner is because they're sick and tired of being picked on. And yes, I believe that people need to have thicker skins. That's one of my personal opinions, that you just have to learn how to brush it off. But not everybody's like myself. Not everybody else is going to be as thick-skinned. Some people just get tired of the constant belittling, the constant negativity associated with what's wrong with them, and they can't control that. So when people respond with condescending remarks, or they just push us away or anything like that, it tends to breed a level of frustration and anger, because again, nobody asked to be like this. If anybody would ever ask to suffer from OCD or other mental disabilities, they're out their dang mind, plain and simple. It's just the case. But I really think that in this community, in society, that the more people open up and talk about what they struggle with, and the more that people who don't suffer from these are willing to listen and talk. You don't have to be a psychologist, you don't have to be a counselor, you just have to keep your mind open and really try to see who that person is besides the mental disability. Don't let that mental disability shroud your thoughts of what this person is. I don't go out and announce, hi, my name's Clinton and I have OCD. My OCD doesn't define me. It's something that I have. But I feel, just due to some past experiences, that it is important to try and educate people now. And I really hope that, my videos and some of the things I talk about really inspire people and help bring a level of understanding. And I really would recommend watching, it's Free Hugs. Just type it in on YouTube and watch this gentleman. And granted, this has nothing to do with the mental disability aspect, but it shows a proper way of approaching the misunderstanding between people, and how to do so in a manner that's peaceful and accepting and loving. And really, I think in the mental disability or mental disorder department, that's something that we as a group need. But in order for us to be able to get that, we need to be open and willing to try and educate people about what's going on with us. I'm not saying disclose everything all in one shot, but I am saying be open about it. Talk to people. I know how hard that is. Trust me, it's something I struggle with every day. But the more you do it, and the more people start asking you questions, and people start finding like, oh, hey, well, tell me more about this. And as you bridge that gap of not understanding, there comes a level of acceptance. There will always be some form of resistance and tension, just because with anything in human nature, if we don't understand something, we run from it. But I really encourage everybody to just sit back and, rather than casting judgment right away, do your research. And even if you don't understand or agree, still try to approach that from a peaceful and a respectful manner, because it's going to open doors and it's going to stop all the negative, not necessarily all the negative, but it's going to help stop that negative view on people that are different than everybody else. And again, it's, everybody struggles with something in some way, shape, or form, and they're different in some way, some more so than others. But if we are able to embrace that difference, and if we are able to just accept it and try to understand it, then a lot of the possible negative outcomes that have been occurring will go away. Because you'll be able to see and if someone is different, and rather than, I guess, picking on them or ostracizing them, you're gonna approach it in a different light. And the same goes for those that are suffering. You'll learn how to present yourself in a means that, hey, yes, I may suffer from this, but it is not what defines me. It is just, unfortunately, something that I have to live with on a day-to-day basis. But I am still a productive and good person in society. And that's really just what I want to get across. Again, please send me any questions. Topics definitely help, or questions help me develop topics for my vlogs. But I was watching this gentleman today. Again, it's free hugs. Just type it into YouTube. His name is Ken. He's going around doing all the he's going with where these protests are to help preach peaceful protests and to quell the animosity and anger that is leading to violence. And just encourage you to watch it and see how it kind of impacts in all areas of your life. Again, appreciate your time, and have a good day. Thank you.